Life on Earth without the sun in the sky. Imagine if the sun suddenly vanished, waking up to a dark sky. The sun, our constant companion, has vanished. Its reassuring presence, which we often take for granted, is nowhere to be seen. The sun is more than just a bright light in the sky. It is the anchor of our solar system. Its immense gravity keeps Earth and all the other planets in orbit. The sun is a giant ball of burning gas, a colossal nuclear furnace. The sky remains pitch black, as if night has refused to give way to dawn. The world is enveloped in an eerie darkness, casting long shadows of uncertainty and fear. This is not an eclipse or a cloudy day. The sun has simply vanished. Your clock reads 7 a.m., but the air is frigid and your breath forms visible clouds. You fumble for a flashlight, feeling disoriented. Streets are deserted, no birds sing their morning songs. It's as if the entire world is holding its breath, waiting for a light that will never come. This scenario, though fictional, sets the stage for exploring what would happen if our world were suddenly deprived of sunlight. It's a chilling thought, one that forces us to confront the delicate balance of life sustained by the sun's warm embrace. What are the long-term effects of a world without sunlight? By understanding these impacts, we can appreciate the sun's critical role and contemplate humanity's adaptability in the face of such a catastrophe. We aim to examine the cascading consequences that would unfold. Each aspect of life on Earth, from the tiniest microbe to the largest mammal, relies on the sun in some way. We will explore how the absence of sunlight would disrupt these connections. This essay will not only highlight the scientific and ecological ramifications, but also consider the societal and psychological impacts. By the end, we hope to spark a deeper reflection on our dependence on the sun and our resilience. The sun is the primary source of light and heat for our planet. It enables photosynthesis, which is the foundation of the food chain. Without sunlight, plants cannot produce food, leading to a collapse in ecosystems. Sunlight also regulates the Earth's temperature. It warms the atmosphere, driving weather patterns and creating habitable conditions. The energy from the sun is harnessed by solar panels, providing a renewable source of power. The sun's influence extends beyond the physical. It impacts circadian rhythms, affecting sleep and mood. The absence of this light would create a domino effect, disrupting life as we know it. Without the sun, the Earth's temperature would plummet, daytime would feel like the coldest night, and the lack of light would halt many human activities. Outdoor work would become nearly impossible. Cities would rely on artificial lighting, but these systems are not designed to replace natural daylight entirely. Power grids would strain under the increased demand. People would stay indoors, leading to a decline in social and economic activities. The immediate drop in temperature would also affect wildlife. Animals accustomed to daylight would struggle to adapt. Nocturnal creatures might gain a temporary advantage, but the overall disruption would be severe. Imagine a world where the sun never rises. The absence of sunlight would have catastrophic effects on our planet. Photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert sunlight into energy, would come to a halt. Plants would begin to die off, triggering a domino effect in ecosystems. Herbivores, which rely on plants for food, would face starvation. Aquatic ecosystems would not be spared either. Phytoplankton, the foundation of marine food webs, depend on sunlight for survival. Their decline would ripple through the food chain, affecting fish populations and the species that prey on them. The cessation of photosynthesis would also mean a drastic reduction in oxygen production. Forests and oceans, which are vital oxygen producers, would no longer sustain this essential function, leading to deteriorating air quality and threatening life on Earth.
Imagine a world where our ecosystems are crumbling. As plants wither away, herbivores would face a grim fate: starvation. This would trigger a devastating chain reaction, hitting carnivores next. The collapse of the food chain would spell widespread extinction. In every corner of the Earth, forests, grasslands, oceans, the loss of primary producers would create a deadly void. Herbivores, from tiny insects to massive mammals, would be the first to fall, followed by their predators. This catastrophic domino effect would inevitably reach us. Our dependence on both plant and animal products for sustenance would put our survival at risk. As these vital resources dwindle, the very fabric of life would be threatened.
The Earth would quickly descend into a deep freeze. This would disrupt weather patterns, leading to extreme and unpredictable conditions. Oceans would cool, affecting marine currents that regulate climate. The absence of solar heating would halt the water cycle, causing droughts in some areas and floods in others. Snow and ice would spread, covering vast regions. The cold would be relentless, affecting all forms of life. Crops would fail, and fresh water sources would freeze, compounding the challenges faced by humans and animals alike. The world would become an inhospitable place.
With the sun gone, we would face an immediate energy crisis. Solar power would become obsolete, and other energy sources would struggle to meet the increased demand for heating and lighting. Agriculture would collapse as crops fail without sunlight. Greenhouses with artificial lighting could provide temporary solutions, but they are not scalable for global food production. Food shortages would become a critical issue. The collapse of agriculture would lead to economic instability. Farmers and related industries would face ruin, and prices for remaining food supplies would skyrocket. Hunger and malnutrition would spread, adding to the growing crisis.
Are you worried about the societal impacts of food shortages and conflicts? The scarcity of food would lead to widespread panic and desperation. Societies would struggle to maintain order as people fight for survival. Economic systems would falter, leading to instability and conflict. Governments would implement rationing, but black markets would thrive. The divide between rich and poor would widen, with the wealthy securing resources while the less fortunate suffer. Social cohesion would break down. Conflicts over resources would become common. Nations might go to war over remaining fertile lands or energy resources. Internal strife could lead to civil wars, further exacerbating the global crisis. The world would become a more dangerous place.
In the face of perpetual darkness, humanity would turn to technology for solutions. Artificial lighting could provide some relief, though it would never fully replace natural sunlight. Innovations in LED and other lighting technologies would be crucial. Greenhouses with artificial lighting could sustain some food production. Advances in hydroponics and vertical farming might alleviate food shortages to some extent. However, these solutions would require significant energy. Energy sources like nuclear power and geothermal energy would become vital. Renewable sources like wind and hydropower would also be essential. The challenge would be to provide enough energy to sustain these systems on a global scale. As a long-term solution, humanity might look to the stars. Finding another habitable planet would become a priority. Space agencies would accelerate their efforts to explore and colonize other worlds. This endeavor would be fraught with challenges. Traveling to another planet requires immense resources and advanced technology. The search for a planet with the right conditions for life would be a race against time. Even if a suitable planet is found, the logistics of moving large populations would be daunting. Establishing self-sustaining colonies would be an enormous task. Nonetheless, it could be humanity's best hope for survival in a sunless world.
Living in perpetual darkness would have profound psychological effects. Lack of sunlight can lead to depression and other mental health issues. Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, would become widespread. Humans are not adapted to live without natural light. The absence of a day-night cycle would disrupt circadian rhythms, affecting sleep and overall well-being. Social interactions would decrease, leading to isolation and loneliness. The psychological strain would be immense. Communities would need to find ways to support mental health, perhaps through enhanced social structures and artificial environments designed to mimic natural light. Adapting to this new reality would be a significant challenge. In summary, a world without sunlight would trigger a domino effect with catastrophic consequences. From the immediate drop in temperature to the collapse of ecosystems and agriculture, every aspect of life would be impacted. Societal unrest, economic instability, and psychological strain would compound the crisis. Technological solutions like artificial lighting and alternative energy sources might provide temporary relief, but long-term survival could depend on finding another habitable planet. The resilience and adaptability of humanity would be put to the ultimate test. As we ponder this scenario, a thought-provoking question arises. In the face of such a profound challenge, Could humanity adapt and thrive, or would we succumb to the darkness? The sun's role in our lives is indispensable, and this exploration highlights the delicate balance that sustains us. It serves as a reminder of our vulnerability and the importance of preserving the natural systems that support life.